Welcome to the 25th episode of Tapped In with Tony. I'm your host, Tony Bogan. And tonight I have a couple of guests with me. They are from NextGen Youth Sports. Guys, welcome to the program.
What's good, Tony? How you?
I'm good, man. Just season's almost over for me. I got baseball this upcoming weekend at Canal Park in Akron, and then just gonna chill till football.
Uh,
Definitely ready for football. Can y'all see me and
Absolutely.
hear me fine? I was having connection problems for a second.
you can hear.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay,
I can see and hear both of you.
okay.
So, guys, for those who are probably just tuning in, introduce yourselves.
My name is Daishaun Bloodworth, co-CEO of Next Generation Sports Media, Next Generation Youth Sports Media.
Hmm.
My name is Kenny Roye, co-founder, co-CEO, Next Generation Sports Media.
Nice. And you guys are both
Yeah.
from Cleveland, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I
Awesome.
Born
went
and
to I
raised.
went to Cleveland Heights.
I
Nice.
graduated from St. Ed's in 2017.
I went to Shaker Heights, so we all went to high school in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah,
So, did both of you play sports in high school, or
Yeah,
yeah.
grew up,
Play football.
grew up playing basketball. Then going into high school, I just ended up deciding to play football because I couldn't really do both at once because at Ed's they just make too many deep runs.
gotcha?
I stopped playing basketball because I wasn't that good. So football was my thing. I played football all the way through 6 years old through senior year. Played a little bit in college. So that was my thing.
Where did you end up playing football at college? I remember Coach Max Stevens saying that at one point he sent 26 kids to college one year.
Yeah. Yeah, after my senior year, I ended up I went to Mount Union, but then I had transferred to John Carroll, and that's where I actually got on the field at a little bit. Was at John Carroll,
Nice. And what position did you play at John Carroll?
linebacker.
Awesome. That's a great program. I would say just short of Mount Union, John Carroll is one of the top D3 programs in Ohio.
Definitely.
And this isn't a diss on Baldwin Wall saying went out there as a BW or anything like you guys. Just first two programs that came to mind. About you, Daishaun, what position did you play at you played football at St. Ed's, you said?
Yeah, I played football at St. Ed's in 2017 class. I played cornerback. Then I went to Mount Union. Actually, Kenny was my roommate at Mount Union. He stayed for like 3 days, 72 hours.
So
Then he
like
left.
I, I was there for like a week. I was there for a
He
full
left.
week.
Man, he left after the 4 week, right? But it's crazy though, because honestly, it was a cool experience. But we was really the only two Cleveland kids that year to go to Mount Union. So when he left, it was like, man, I can't really relate to nobody out here. You feel me? Because everybody is low key from the country. I just can't relate to it. So, but then man, Ken, you got to tell him why you got to tell him your tuition price at John Carroll, man. I'm not gonna believe this
my
one.
my scholarship package, I ended up paying $88 in total after all my scholarships and stuff. I ended up paying $88 at John Carroll. So
Wow.
that was definitely part of the reason why I ended up going there. And I'm
What did
pretty
he
sure
end up doing?
John Carroll is an expensive school.
It is very, very much so.
Hmm.
It
And
was pretty cool, though. Pretty cool.
what position did you end up playing, Darshawn? Where did you end up playing? What position?
My bad to correct you, Tony Daishaun, but I ended up playing.
Daishawn.
I ended up playing cornerback at Mount.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Actually, I got on the field like twice a little. I got on the field twice, but I feel like if I was a little bit undersized. So if I would have just stuck to it and just grounded it out, I probably would have. I would have gotten the field a lot.
Gotcha. And how was it like? How was the experience being part of that environment at John Carroll for both of you guys?
It was pretty good. I would say the environment at Mount might have been a little bit better than the environment at John Carroll because they got the whole alliance, the whole area. It's all behind the program. But at John Carroll, the games they was it would be a lot of people there. Like it'll be depending on who you was playing though. I'll put it like that. So like if John Carroll was playing against a good team, it'd be a lot of people there. Like of course if he was playing Mount, it'd be sold out. If we was playing Ball and Wallace, like you said, it'd be a lot of people there. But then if we was playing a lesser team, not to put any names on it, it wouldn't be like that. But at Mount Union, no matter who they playing, every Saturday is all the stands was packed out. So that's what I would say the difference in the environments are between the two.
Even the players, like I feel like it's a lot of competition out in Alliance for sure. Because a lot of guys that didn't go D1 or they couldn't get their grades up, or they just come from JUCO, they end up going to Mount Union. So they got a lot of D1 guys that play D3.
Nice. And both programs are really two very prominent programs. And I believe one year John Carroll actually beat Mount Union.
Yeah, they did. And that was the year. It's crazy because my senior year of high school, when I was getting recruited to Mount Union, I took a visit to Mount Union. You know how you take game day visits when you getting recruited and stuff. So I went to Mount Union the day that they played John Carroll, and that was the year that John Carroll beat Mount Union at Mount Union. It was wild.
Wow. I bet it was I bet it was very exciting though,
It
I know
was.
you eventually committed to Mount Union, but
Mm-hmm.
yep. So talk about how Next Gen Youth Sports got its start.
So NextGen got started in 2019. It was August. Just like we just started it because like trying to how it was always something for basketball. Like you can find like third coach gotta give respect to Nuke because he wants us to do what we do now. But I had a little brother like going into high school, like he was going into freshman year, and I was just like experimenting with him. And I started a page, and Next Generation Sports Media. And then I had like 6 people in the group chat that week, and I knew from that point nobody had the name. It was perfect, like it was open. So, I like it was like 6 of us. I think Kenny was one of those guys that was in that group chat with us. And then that group chat, he was like, "Oh, it ain't gonna work. Like, yeah, no, I ain't really with it." So Kenny called me like, "Bruh, we doing it." I'm like, "Man, we all right." Next day, Kenny he got a man. So I already had a Canon. I had a Canon. Kenny had he had one of them cameras that you get.
I had like one of them Google cameras, one of the
He had
cameras
like
you
the
get from Walmart
Walgreens
for like
camera.
$150. Yeah.
He had the Walgreens camera. Kenny come pick me up. He like, "Bro, we going to the game. We going to we went out to Collinwood. We went out to Collinwood. We seen Sam Traders versus Glenville. Now it's our first time. Well, I knew all the kids because, like I said, I had a little brother. All the kids that he knew growing, I knew all these kids growing up. So it was low key. It was a win-win. We just started recording, man. Every week we just started getting better and better. And then like following, like it was like a few weeks later, they started letting us on the field. So we got on the field, we just start turning up even more. Then once time go on, we just got better cameras, and then we just had like just starting to our roles. And I'm like, you might as well just. I mean, he started from the jump because he been there. Like, we both started. It's just we just believe in the vision from the jump. And that's how I
Awesome.
really started. We're just trying to trying to create the story for the kids. That's what we started. We want to start the kids first. We can create the story for when they get to college. That's why we do youth sports media first. Like we prioritize youth before we do high school. Because we get to like follow we get to follow the kids all the way up to like when they die.
Awesome. And that's pretty much kind of in a way how I got started because I got started basically as a reporter. I did freelance stuff for Cleveland.com and Sports Insiders. But when I did stuff for TV2, I got a camcorder and I started filming for a lot of the Porch County area teams like Ravenna, Kent Roosevelt, etc. But when I saw the highlights on the TV2 broadcast, I said, and when you guys see like the Fox 8, Channel 5, Channel 19, when they all see their highlights, I'm like, there's something in this. There is something in this. These kids can see their highlights. These highlights are forever. So in 2019, when I started doing stuff for Keon Sports, it was myself and my friend Alexa. We were initially doing like archive audio broadcasts, but I got a camcorder and made my way down to the field and caught some good footage of that. And honestly, it just took off from there, just finding my niche doing video. And I didn't have the best cameras and my camcorder didn't even have audio. But over time, just getting better equipment, getting to go to more games and just growing from there. And that's how basically the content creation took off, at least on my end.
Right.
It's a grind. It takes time. People think you just wake up one day with a camera and It's just that easy. It's definitely a grind.
Gotta put in hands work and gas mileage.
Absolutely.
I would say, like, man, just like just going off what you were saying about that. We still in the beginning stage, and we still trying to bro. I remember when we first started, we wasn't making no money. We didn't make no money. I remember our first client. He came up to us. How much I charge this video? I told I told him $10. He like $10. That ain't no real money. But just like low key, like we didn't. Cause I'll say we didn't really see ourselves like this wasn't really. I'm not gonna say our passion, but we were just getting into it. We didn't really know the market for it. We didn't really know how much, how much charge like how much cameraman was charging and how much like photographers and all was charging. So we just hopped right in. We just trying to like learn on our own. Then now we just got the ball, like just keep going. We keep being consistent. You feel me? Just start learning the process. You see how everybody else moving. You get to take it back to your own team. And you like, all right, now you see what to do. And then especially your best teacher is gonna be experience for sure. Like a lot of stuff we didn't really like. I'm not gonna say we didn't really had a business concept for it at first, but we wasn't really ready for it because it was just too much for us. But I feel like at first, we just learn like a lot of stuff. Just learn the mistakes. You got to go through the process to be great.
Absolutely. I agree with you 1%. Especially when I first started off, I had like 2 cameras I bought off Amazon that weren't legit. Then I went and got a legit one. I've been doing the videos for Keon Sports for about 3 years now. It'll be 3 years this year. And basically, one of the guys I look up to, in addition to Newt, Matt Gould, seeing the stuff that they do, wanting to put my own spin on it and emulating that, it's just trial by fire. And I'm feel like I'm self-taught too with the whole video stuff, because it is a grind. Like furthest game I ever went down to was Columbus earlier this year for a baseball game in 40-degree temperatures.
Ooh, see, that's that grind. People not ready for that part. People not ready for the playoff football games.
Oh yeah.
It's cold outside during states.
Man, we done took losses. We done lost cameras. I remember one year we went to Florida. We took a loss on one of our first major camera for real. I remember it was a crazy storm down there. That's another thing that comes with it too. Just you invest in it, you're gonna take losses. So don't be like it take. I think it take like people always say it take a minute to build a brand, and I definitely believe in that. Like you don't really believe like if you think it's gonna blow up quick, it's not gonna happen for you. We put in like 4 years of grind for us to even make $1. Like we wasn't making no money. We wasn't in it for the money. We was going just every week. Like I said, we still just doing the same thing. Still the same. We just still grinding. But just once you keep going, you keep doing something. We see the reward within. So we just gonna keep. That's why we just keep going with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because once you start grinding, it's just like you just keep on rolling. Like last year, from I'll say the last scrimmage in August to December, 17 straight weeks, 17 straight Fridays from like that last scrimmage there. Because it's like I love doing it. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like work even when you do editing and stuff like that. When you put the clips up. I see you guys as inspiration too, the way you guys put the little clips up and stuff like that. Seeing that and just seeing the style, emulating it, putting my own spin on it. And pretty much with that all pretty much, you see more creators doing that. You got guys like Chris the Creator, Tommy, TK, and your creators that I haven't mentioned. It's a trend. It's growing out here in Northeast Ohio.
Definitely.
Yeah. And how did the pandemic affect you guys? Because I know there was no spring sports in 2020. The state championships were canceled in basketball. In football, in part of basketball, like later that year, you didn't know who was going to have a season, who was going to play where. Was this game going to get canceled? How did you guys navigate that?
I would say, well, first of all, we start our coverage begins with the youth. Like we cover 6U and 7U games. So it kind of shout out to the Midwest Youth Elite Conference because they stayed steady through the whole pandemic. So we kind of stayed busy with a lot of youth during that time. We took that time to cover a lot of the youth But as far as high school games were concerned, like you said, it was a lot of back and forth. You didn't know what was going on. Basketball season, I don't think we really even covered that many games that basketball season because they wouldn't allow too many people in the gyms. You was allowed like two parents at the games and stuff like that. So I say we took a big hit with the indoor sports as in basketball, but football season was pretty solid. I don't think we really suffered too bad during football when it came to high school because like I said, it's more outdoors, so people were allowed more freedom into coming to the games.
Right. And you with basketball, you guys, this past couple years was pretty, I would say probably like this. We were talking about it earlier before we went on air. We talked about the basketball season. So, what would you say is the best game of the past couple years in basketball you guys have been to?
St. Ed's versus Richmond this past year.
Mm-hmm.
That
Gotcha.
was definitely the best game. And I don't know. I don't think anything can compete with
Yeah,
that. St. Ed's versus Richmond this past year was definitely the best game that I've seen.
that was
Right.
good. That was probably the
And
best game.
what about football? Non-state championship. What about football?
Iggy and Hype.
Benedictine. Okay, Iggy and Heist. That's a good
Iggy
one.
and Hype.
Iggy and Heist is a good one. I was about to take it back a few years to Benedictine versus Breaksville in
Oh,
2019.
playoff movie. That was a
Yeah,
movie.
they
No,
went to
Minor
like,
and Ed that year.
yep.
Minor and Ed that year. That's
Minor Eds
overtime.
in 2019 is the answer.
Oh man.
That's
Yeah,
the
Okay.
Minor versus
answer.
Ed. That's the answer.
The Ian Kip era at Minor.
Yep.
That's definitely the answer.
Gotcha. And what was it that? What would you say is your favorite part about covering high school football? Is it the players? Is it the student section? What's your favorite part about it?
I like the build up, like the hype, like before the week. I just love because it give me that same feeling how when I was playing. And then we get out there on the field, it don't really it feel like hype, like once I like when I was playing again, it don't really feel no difference. Now I'm just behind the camera. So when I go out there and then plus people be like the kids, they interact with us, they know who he is, so they want to get in the camera and just make it easier for us to like be with them.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the players because I mean without the players it would be no us. So
Right.
it's definitely my favorite part is definitely the players. They show love, we show them love. And that's one thing that I like to say separates like certain media outlets like everybody we not really in it for the money, we in it for the kids, like we in it to see them be successful, put them in the spotlight. So that's why kind of like Daishaun was saying, we didn't even make money for like 3 years, but we still kept going and we still kept persevering, all because of the players and just the love for the game, period.
Absolutely. In the community, it definitely makes it worth it. Just got kids saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, thank you. Did you have my highlight from this game? You have my base hit from here. Thank you for coming
Right.
out to our game. Really appreciate what you guys do." It's yeah. It's not about the money. It's about the impact that you have on these kids, and they'll take that for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Do you guys each have a favorite player that you've covered so far? Who's your favorite player? Football, basketball, any sport?
From youth, can we start at the youth end to college? Can we start youth to high school? All right,
Yeah.
shout out, I'll start the youth. I got like I don't got just a favorite. I got favorites. So let me
Me
start with like
too. I
I
got
got
five.
man. One of the guys he don't play no more, but I just love going back to watch his film. Man, a kid named Syer Thompson, man, he was crazy. His film, I just love covering because every week it was just something about him. He was different. I like Roger Love. Roger Love from over. He got a paddle right now. He real good. Right West. Um, Marquise. What's his last name? Paul.
Paul.
Marquise.
Yep,
Jalen
Marcus.
Edwards. You got it's a lot of kids I could really go. Oh, Peyton Cook. Man, he got film. Like that's one of my favorite guys covering high school. Right now, the running back from Glenville, the tight end
Deshaunte Jones. Yeah.
as well. Marquise Davis over at Heights. Um, who else, man? It's a couple, bro. Oh, man, it's a lot. I'm gonna let
I
Ken go.
I would say when you sent me this question earlier, Tony, I made a top 5 list. So number 1 is Sanaya Hall at Laurel right now.
Yeah.
That's my favorite athlete that we've covered. At 2, I got a tie. I got a 2A and a 2B. Sincere Harris and Malachi Branham at St. Vincent St. Mary. That was great times. 3, I would have to say Darion Fair. Because anytime you went to a Heights game, you was there to see the show that Daishaun Fair was gonna put on. You knew he was gonna lead with probably 200 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns like every week. 4, I kind of tossed this one back and forth, but I'm going with more of a under the radar guy from Ed's, Jair Knight. That was one of my favorite athletes to watch because it's anytime you went to a game, you could expect some type of nice dunk, some type of anything like that. And number 5 right now, I have to say the phenomenal freshman Marcus Johnson.
Oh yeah, he's. I
Definitely.
think I can see him and Peterson in the NBA within the next few years. Their
Easily,
ceiling is that high.
yeah, easily.
And
I didn't
what's
know that guy.
what were you saying?
I said I didn't name my basketball guys. I just named straight football guys.
And as far as speaking of football, what would you say is your favorite stadium that you've filmed in? Like your favorite environment for football?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I
Byers
love
Field probably for me.
I love Lakewood when it's packed out.
Mm,
And Mass. I like Mass when it's packed out too.
gotcha. I
Those
filmed
would be
there
nice
for
too.
Three of
North
them
South
teams.
game. There, I would say I'm trying to go this year to Ed's and Iggy at Lakewood. That's gonna be those games are always good.
Yeah. Does the Brown Stadium count? Because we recorded at the Brown Stadium, but I
Yeah,
know that's
I'm
different.
seeing counts.
I loved recording at the Brown Stadium.
I love that grass. That grass definitely feels different.
Yeah.
Mine is Ravenna because of the blue turf, and
The
not
blue.
that I'm biased because I live by
They're
it.
gonna be nice for you.
It's the blue turf. What about basketball?
Um,
The
favorite.
best environment in basketball. That's a good one. I don't know. You got me stumped with that one. It's a couple ones between Wash Jesuit with the Warrior Dome. That's pretty nice. Brush when Brush has a sold out game, or Euclid. Brush and Euclid both when
Oh,
they
you,
have sold out games, that's a real nice environment. Those probably the top 3 for me.
Gotcha.
I'll say Brush. I like Heights a little bit. And I like Ed's when it's packed out.
Gotcha. I haven't covered an Ed's game, so I'll say some of my favorites are. I could say the Warrior Dome, of course. Their
Mm-hmm.
environment is just always great. Hoban. Gotta go to a V game eventually.
You like
Hoban.
you like Hope and Jim?
I'm sorry?
You like Hope and Jim? Hope and Jim was small.
It is pretty small, but it's just, I think that's probably just the mystique of it, you know. Smaller gym, louder crowd, you know. There. And Jackson's gym. Jackson's gym is actually pretty huge. It's down in Massillon.
Didn't we cover out before? Massillon Jackson? Did
Yeah, we did. Twinsburg got a pretty nice gym too that they used during the playoffs.
Yep. And with Brush, I remember this past year seeing probably the dunk of the year with Marlon Barnes, the Pitt commit.
Mm-hmm.
Funny
That
thing
was a
is,
nice dunk.
I was going to actually cover another game, but when they moved it to the afternoon, that opened up a slot for Mayfield Brush. So you know what? I'm going to cover that when it's 5 minutes away. And, you know, things just worked out.
That's how it always happens. I actually caught a dunk like that this past year as well from the Euclid game. I wasn't even gonna go to that game, but I just went on a humble. Like, you know what? I'm gonna just go to this game, and then I ended up catching a dunk like that as well.
Oh, yeah. That's really amazing. Like some of those, and I've missed dunks like that before. I wasn't gonna miss this one.
That's the worst feeling when a crazy play happened and you missed it behind the
Missed it.
camera.
Yep. It was
That's the
a
worst feeling.
20-some. It was Darren Peterson. It was a 20-some point game. CBCA was beating East Tech. It's like you don't think it's gonna happen, then all of a sudden it happens. I'm like, oh my god.
And you like, wow, now you mad.
Yeah, it's like that's why they say never turn the camera off because you never know.
Or the referee walking your way. That's always terrible too.
Ooh.
Especially in basketball. Basketball, man.
I hope we get a referee watching this, refs. Please step to the side. Please.
They see you right there and they just still getting your way, man. It's
And
crazy.
they would just stand right in front of you like they do. They don't care. They would just stand right in front of you.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, especially with I think some of my favorite ones is like when the student sections get involved in the game too. I also like when the student sections get involved, like when they storm the field afterwards, like when Walsh Jesuit beat St. V this past year in football, they rushed the court, and they did it in basketball too.
That's definitely when we was at Kent State. What part of high school playoffs is that? Regionals, right? When they
Regionals.
play at Kent State, yeah. When Hoban beat Eds, I was sitting right in front of Hoban student section. They almost trampled me running on.
Oh. Yep, I had to say Kent's one of mine as well, because when Hoban Walsh Jesuit played the regional final, that legit felt like a college environment. Both student sections were in the game.
I definitely love those types of games.
Where do you guys see NextGen going in the future?
You want this one good?
All right, next few years, I just see us. I see us being like a real big, not a corporation, but I see us having like our own headquarters and them just giving more, like just doing more for the community. Start having more camps. Just start doing stuff outside of sports, like just trying to not just emphasize on the football part, but just like more so on the student athlete part as well. And just trying to just build a brand up, trying to make ourselves our own millionaires. For real, like that's what we're trying to do. It take time, and we willing to put the grind in. We've been putting the grind in. Like I said, we not really in it for the money. We in it for to make the impact. That's what that's it come with that.
Absolutely.
Also see it expanding to a couple other states. We already got a couple connections, like in Texas, we got connections. California, we got connections. Maryland, we got connections. So over time, we want to like build a nice solid team here. We got about probably 5 or 6 guys on the team now. That's to where it started off as just me and Daishaun. So now that we kind of getting more and more guys in this area, it's like we could put our attention into some other areas.
Right.
Respect. That's amazing, especially with big sports states like California and Texas, especially with Texas for football.
Yeah.
The
Texas
second.
been on this path. They've been on this for like the last since we've been down. Like we went down there for basketball one year, then they got connected to that, and they've been on this path ever since. They've been trying to get us to come down there for a minute, but we know we got to make sure everything is.
Got to take care of home base first.
Absolutely.
We can do what we need to do.
Absolutely. Thank you both for coming on the show. And where can people find your guys' work at?
Next Generation Sports Media, Next Generation Productions. Go follow our apparel page. Post the merch that my guy Kenny got on. Hoodie right there, Next Gen Sports Apparel.
Yes, sir.
Had to throw the X up.
Appreciate you, Tony.
No problem. And those of you watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe below. And Tapped In with Tony is available on Spotify and all streaming services. Thank you guys for coming on, and you guys have a good evening.
Thank you for having us, Tony.
Tony.